Art teachers are required to give students levels at the end of Year 9. Levels which take into account a student's work over the academic year. But before that, most departments like to give their students a guide by applying levels to projects and individual pieces of work. This programme follows the art departments at 2 North London schools as they make decisions on which levels to award their students. Full details of how these levels are arrived at are available on this programme's resource page on the Teachers TV website.
That is together with that.
At East Barnet School, they're getting ready for a meeting to award levels to 2 painting projects by Years 8 and 9.
We're going to have a discussion tonight about the levels that we think the students' work is at. And so we've all brought samples of work along with us to the meeting.
Down the road at St Michael's Catholic Grammar School, they're also getting ready for a meeting to award levels for their Year 9 project, Urban Environments. The teachers bring samples of work by a high, a middle and a low achieving student.
Is this bottom? These set the groups here are bottom, middle, right, top. Okay.
If we start
In East Barnet, they begin with Year 8 landscapes, starting with a painting that could be a level 3 or a level 4.
I mean, the student has worked observationally, because the starting point for this project is to go outside, isn't it, onto the terrace and look across North London at Alexander Palace and the skyline. Start with a gut instinct, which I know is always dangerous to start. I mean, I like it.
It's a nice little drawing, isn't it?
Where would we say that was? Sort of like taking away all the national curriculum things to begin with in terms of a level?
4.
A 4, a level 4. Gonzalo.
Some elements probably slightly under. We got obviously smaller images right at the background, so there is a little bit of that. However, there's a little bit of sort of naive.
I'd certainly say they're using line to sort of analyse different shapes. Would you say that?
Yes.
Yeah. It's actually not linking together. That's the main problem.
In terms of media and in terms of
drawing goes together.
Yeah. Are we all agreeing that it's around that level 3?
Yes.
Yeah. For those reasons.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah. Jumping from the piece that we've just looked at, I think we can all see there's like a real initial, that there's like quite a big jump, isn't there?
There is some kind of harmony here that is lacking here. Okay? If you look even the way the tree is bending into the horizon, it coming to the horizon and to the other tree, and the way the line is coming, there is some kind of flow here that is quite nice.
The media is probably a 3, high 3, low 4, because it's flat, isn't it? There's no sense of light and getting darker towards the foreground.
I feel it is hitting the 4 just in terms of the media. I think there's a sense of sort of like layering going on here within the sky and elements here. I think it's a low 4.
It's definitely a 4.
Because, you know, I think from that to that, there is a sort of like a step up.
When there's disagreement, subgroups within a level can help.
But have we got these both on the same level?
Seriously, they look very, very similar.
Why?
Just the mark making, the colours, and I think that they're exactly at the same level. Exactly.
No.
I think you're just trying to justify it because you're saying that because that drawing's really nice.
No.
Yeah?
Well, look here. This is Barnet. These are the houses and they're getting smaller towards the horizon line. That's not happening there at all.
There is a little bit more of a thought process going on there, a little bit more of an understanding of what is being asked of the student. And I think it's... Sorry, Carol, I didn't mean to
I just think the idea of the A, B and C that we're dealing with at the moment is relative.
It gives you that flexibility. So
otherwise, if they're 4s, they're 4s, they're 4s.
If we compare those, the student there has used their drawing to show the contrast between various sections of the picture to create a sense of scale and depth. I think you can see the jump from that one to that one.
At St Michael's, before they consider awarding levels to their Year 9s, they make comparisons between the samples of work.
The shape of the car is really good. I think that's good. I've seen some really ropey cars over the years. Yeah, and that's a good block of, you know, But it's just too big for that road.
Yeah.
So the question is this girl better than this one?
Yes.
Are we agreeing that?
I think so.
Or are they the same?
No, I think she has got the edge.
Got the edge on them. All right then. So let's put this person here as next. Okay, is this student better than this student?
The drawing is better than the painting. So developmentally, that's not very good.
Right.
But then this is, there's no correlation between these two compositions.
They both have tried to tackle the perspective, and have got a certain amount of things getting smaller with distance, but and likewise
Yes,
here. So they both sort of got that, but then there's no sophistication, no variation in the fence here, and likewise there's not really any variation in the stones here. I think they're the same.
Yeah.
This is our order, isn't
That's
it?
the order now.
So
isn't
those
it?
are the same.
Having placed them in a rough order of merit, they need to start awarding levels. And for the team, it's a big responsibility to get it right for the students.
You want to be fair to them and you want to make sure they're getting the right grade, you're not overmarking or undermarking. So you have got to try and separate yourself from the personality, from the individual in class, because you might get on better with certain students and not so well with others. So you can't differentiate with that in your marking.
And Lucia's work, is she a level 8? For a level 8, you've got to be taking full advantage of the materials and processes, which I think she is.
I think when we're looking at a level 8, we have to take into account the drawing and the sketchbook and the consistency of homeworks.
She's probably a level 8.
Level 8.
Okay. And level 7, we've said they're competent, showing competence. And this is showing competence.
Mm-hmm.
I think this definitely fits the level 7 descriptors rather than level 8. Might it be level 6?
No.
It is a level 7.
Artwork from previous years, representing each of the levels, is available to refer to. But assessing unfinished work can raise problems.
At the moment, it's not as good as that.
It's not finished though, is it?
No. But that was a 6A. I think this is a lower 6. We should give her a 6B, and yes, she can work into it and improve it, and have the ability. It can go up.
I still think that the paint techniques are much more sophisticated than here.
It is.
So
yeah. This is flexible. We can. This work at the moment is a 6B, all right? As it is now, not what she's going to do next week, all right? She may well work into it. I'm sure she will, and it'll go up a stage in her development.
You're saying it's a 6B.
Yes.
I'm arguing that it's not.
But you're just
actually-
saying, the point that I think Jane was trying to make is that we haven't got in our
6A.
sample a 6A. So we'll come back to that.
So we might say that that's a 6B or an A.
Because it could be a 6B.
I mean, you could, for argument's sake, put it as an in-between, those two grades.
Yeah,
Moving
yeah.
on to 6A.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
All right then, I agree with that.
And then you've kind of got
Working towards a 6. That's a good compromise.
working towards a 6A.
Yeah.
So it's that in-between stage, which I think is actually more accurate. And so you can see that what she needs to do to get into a 6A.
All right, good.
Okay.
It's not easy doing this.
We're very passionate about what we do and we want to get the best level possible, try and give the student the highest level, looking at all aspects of their work, their research, their experimentation with techniques, as well as the final outcome.
In East Barnet, they've moved on to assessing the Year 9 Expressive Face project.
Well, there is obviously a greater understanding here of the form.
Yes.
And the way that they've
It
used...
feels difficult. The drawing is stronger to start with. The use of media is much more in control. The understanding of how to put the two together is definitely greater.
I mean, that is very good.
Oh, yes. No, it
That
is
is gifted.
Is excellent. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
are we saying about this one?
Well, I certainly think it's a 7C. I think it's moving into a 7. Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
Can it?
Yeah.
No, I think it's 6A.
You think it's just missing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only when the student's sketchbook and additional work are taken into consideration that agreement is reached.
There's a sense that when we sort of look through the work, you know, the initial part, and then taking that through from the book into the book, you can see there's a real sort of sense of understanding, the student pushing that on, and sort of taking that through and developing it in his own way, and then feeding that back into what he's done in class, because you can see qualities and elements of this coming through into the finished piece. There is that link there, there's that sort of sophistication and sort of thinking that's going on with that piece. The media as well is hitting that as well, obviously as a 7, there's that sort of fluidity there. So I think the fact that the drawing is not quite getting in there is not going to stop him from getting his 7.
So we agree it's definitely 7C on the whole lot.
We agree with that.
We agree.
At St Michael's, they're still working their way through the Year 9 Urban Environments project.
I think that's a 5 at the moment. I know there are some lovely touches and she's really responding to the work of her artist.
She's developing that beyond her drawing. She's recognised the weaknesses.
But I think she's a 5A at the moment.
She's really considered the drawing though, because she's added on the paper. She realised she's got the wrong scale.
She realised she couldn't fit it all in, and so rather than starting her again, it was easier. And that's what Degas has done. So why can't she do it? I think this is a 5C. It might be a 5C. There is a mixture of tones. She's done that.
What about the 3 lines?
Which 3 lines? Oh yeah, there's none of that, is there? That's what makes it a lower 5. So could this be a 5B and this be a 5C?
Yes.
That would make it much clearer for us as well. Okay, let's do that. The drawing certainly is better than that one.
Much better.
I'm not sure how.
Well, that's completely flat. There's no sophistication in the drawing. And this one has got, the windows are getting smaller with distance. She's done it in her painting, I guess. There is some progression there. And this one is perhaps, that's parallel with that. So the drawing is better, but the painting is the same. So we'd say this is a high 4.
Yeah. 4A.
At the end of the meeting, Kate takes photos of the artworks, with the levels awarded clearly marked, and puts them on disc as a source of reference for each member of the department. So is time spent awarding levels useful?
We will meet and sort of discuss levels on a reasonably sort of regular basis. So, you know, this is not a case of saying, right, well, you know, this is a level 6 and this is a level 6 for the next 4 or 5 years. We're hopefully constantly reviewing students' work, sort of comparing what each one of us is doing. So there is that process of standardisation and moderation that goes on.
Despite the shortcomings of the level descriptors, we do believe in the levels we're giving the students and feel they're very fair. Having looked at all aspects of their work, their sketchbooks, their research, their experimentation, up to their final outcome, we do feel it is a very good system, although it is something we debate and discuss and torture ourselves over every year in our meetings. It's hard, but it works.